Hey guys, welcome to my beginner's guide to Gwent, episode 1. The reason that I'm doing this guide series is because I feel like Gwent can be super daunting for newcomers to get into. I know when I first started playing, I wasn't able to fully appreciate the game until I got past that first learning curve. But once I got past that, it has now become one of my favorite games of all time. So that's what I want to do for you guys. I want to help you get past the learning curve. I want to help you understand basic gameplay mechanics, and I want to help you understand how to build decks efficiently. So this is going to be a multi-part guide, and in today's episode, we're going to be covering the user interface. So let's get right into it, and let's take a look at that UI. All right, this is the welcome back screen. This is the first thing that you're usually going to see when you fire up Gwent. In the center here is your current rank, and this is a brand new account that we're using for this demonstration, so it is at rank 29. This is your current level. This is your current progress in the Journey Season Pass, and here is the list of your daily quests. And we'll get into a lot of this more in detail in just a second. Okay, so here is the main menu, and this is where you're going to spend most of the 10,000 plus hours that you're gonna spend in this game. So the most important thing on the screen, of course, is the play button. Click that. Okay. In this area, you have 3 different tabs. This one on the right is training. This is basically you can play bot matches, which are great for just testing out new decks or just practicing. The middle button is your classic match, which is going to be your standard human versus human match. This is going to be your bread and butter. And then on this side, you have your seasonal, which is a monthly variation on the classic mode. The classic is going to be your main area. Down here, this is where you select which deck you're going to play. It shows all your different decks here. You choose which one you want, and then you just click here to start a match. Okay, so the 2 most important things when you're starting out playing Gwent are playing matches, but then also earning resources. Resources are going to allow you to purchase card kegs, and also use scrap to craft cards, because that's what you want to be doing. You want to be basically making your decks better. You want to be adding to your deck collection. So up here on the top, this is your resource bar. This shows all of your resources, and we'll go through these one at a time and talk about what they are all used for. So we have rewards points, we have ore, we have scrap, we have meteorite powder, and we have card kegs. Rewards points are going to be used to spend in your reward book, which we'll get to in a second. Ore is going to be spent to purchase card kegs. Scrap is going to be used to directly craft cards that you want in your collection. And meteorite powder is probably the least important. I wouldn't even worry about this right now. This is just to transmute your normal cards into premium animated versions. So this is just for cosmetic purposes, basically. Okay, cool. So let's start with rewards points. So, like we said, rewards points are spent in the reward book down here. Let's click on the reward book. Okay, within the within the reward book, we have all the different factions here: monsters, Northern Realm, Nilfgaard, Skellige, Scoia'tael. So let's just we're probably going to be doing a Northern Realms deck. So let's just click Northern Realms just for fun. Okay, and what this brings up is basically this constellation looking thing. It has all these different nodes. So this is a scrap node, this is an ore node, this is a meteorite powder node. Also there's some chests and some story nodes. So as you can see, if I hover my mouse over the scrap node, it says cost 1 reward point, and that will give us 40 scrap. So we have 5 rewards points right now. So just for an example, let's spend 1 reward point to unlock 40 scrap. So you just click here, hold it. As you can see, now we have 4 reward points, and we got 40 scrap added here. So basically, you use your rewards points in the reward book to unlock more ore, more scraps, card kegs, and unlock chests. So in these chests, you can see that it gives you 2 kegs, 160 scraps, 90 meteorite powder. So that is the main purpose of the reward points. Okay. Oh, look at this. Claim rewards from contract. Rewarding endeavor. These will pop up every once in a while. They're basically achievements that will also give you different bonuses. So we got 9 reward points. Holy crap. So this one was an achievement for spend a reward point. So we spent 1, we got 9. That's a pretty good deal. Cool. So ore. Ore is used to purchase card kegs. And you do that in the shop. So in the upper right hand corner, there's this little tab that says shop.
Ahoy, hoy!
So shop is where you purchase card kegs. So right here, tab card keg. And you have all these different keg options. We'll talk about it in a second. We'll talk about these when we... Actually, no, we'll just talk about it right now. So card kegs are basically how you're going to get the bulk of new cards in your collection. When you open up a keg, it's going to have 5 random cards in it. And each time you open it, you may get duplicates, but you can scrap those, which we'll also talk about in a second. But, so, for example, right here, faction kegs, which, by the way, these faction kegs are great if you're building towards playing a specific faction. So we're going to play Northern Realms, so this will give us only Northern Realms cards. Whereas down here, if we did base set kegs, this will give us basically cards from all the base set of cards. So we could get cards from any of the faction, neutral cards, all of that. So right now, let's click on Northern Realms, and you can see here that it costs 100 ore for 1 keg. So we're going to do that. We're going to pay 100 ore for 1 keg. Bam! Nice! So there we go. Normally, let's see if this works. You push open goodies. It's kind of bugged right now. Normally that would open the keg for you, but it obviously didn't work. So we'll go back, but now you can see up here, we have 3 card kegs now. So back, and right here, open goodies.
Smash, smash!
And here's the one we just got. 2 base kegs came with our the new account. Let's go to the Northern Realms one we just got. You click open. And in here, it's going to give us 5 cards. We basically get 4, and then in the middle, we get to choose from 3. We get to choose 1 from 3. So you click on each one. Redanian Archer. Nice. So this is going to be a good card for us. Lyrian Scytheman, Lyrian Cavalry, and Siege Master. So this exclamation point means that we don't have these cards yet in our deck. So these are all new. So now we have our, not in our deck, in our collection. So these are all now in our collection. Click in the middle. And here we are going to choose out of these 3 cards which one we want. So I kind of have an idea of how I want to build this deck. So I'm going to go with this Aretuza Adept. So click there. Nice! Now these are the 5 cards we're going to get from the keg. These are now our cards. They're in our collection. We can add them to our decks. Awesome. So we have more kegs to open, but we're not going to do that right now, as fun as that is. We'll go back to the main menu. Alright, we got another reward. What's this one going to give us? Another achievement. Spend 100 ore, and we got another reward point. Nice. Okay. So we covered reward points. We covered ore. Now we're going to talk about scrap. So scrap is what you use to craft individual cards. So if there's a specific card we want in our deck, we use scrap to craft it. So to do that, we go into the deck builder. All right, and we'll talk in depth about the deck builder and how to build a deck in a different episode. But for simplicity right now, we're just going to look this middle section right here. This middle section right here are all the cards basically available in Gwent, and there's a lot of them. And as you can see, the grayed out ones are ones we do not have. The ones that are colored are the ones we do. So as you can see, we don't have hardly any cards. So let's say we wanted to, that we really wanted Philippa Blind Fury in our deck. So we right click on that card, and here it says craft 800 scrap. So this is where we spend our scrap. If we wanted this specific card, we're going to spend that scrap to craft this card. And they cost different amounts. So this is a really good card. So it is 800 scrap. That's the most scrap you'll ever spend. Down here at the bottom, like this card costs 80 scrap. Awesome. So let's go back. Oh, one more thing to note. So you can have two copies of a bronze card and one copy of a gold card. So right here, for example, we have this Dwarven Skirmisher. It says we have two of them. This is a bronze card. It has the bronze border. So if we opened a keg and we got another Dwarven Skirmisher, we'd have three, but we can only have two. So what the game does is it automatically mills that card. And you can see here, we can manually mill it, but if you have extras, it will automatically mill that card. This says you basically get 10 scrap for that card being milled. So that is one way to get scrap. If you're opening kegs, you're getting duplicate cards, it'll automatically mill the duplicates and add to your scrap total, and then you can use that scrap to craft specific cards that you want. And this up here, this is a gold card, as you can see. It has the gold border, and we can only have one of those. Okay, let's go back to the main menu. All right, meteorite powder. We're not going to worry about meteorite powder. It transmutes your standard cards into super pretty animated versions of them, which is really cool, but definitely not the most important thing right now. Card kegs. We pretty much already covered card kegs. So the question is now, how do we earn resources? The good news is that the game is very generous and there's a lot of ways to do it. So you guys saw one of the ways, which is these contracts that pop up over here. They are kind of like achievements. When you reach certain milestones in the game, you unlock them, and usually they will reward you with some rewards points. The other way is just simply playing games. The more games you play, the more rounds that you win, the more reward points you earn. And make sure at the end of every match that you click the little GG button. One, because you're a nice person, but two, if you and your opponent do that, you will both receive a little bit of extra ore or a little bit of extra scrap. So that's pretty cool. The other way is the quest tab, and you're going to want to check this every time that you log into the game. This is where you find your daily quests. So as you can see, win 3 matches as Faction Scoia'tael, 40 ore. So as long as we win 3 matches, we get the 40 ore. Play 60 cards, gain 60 ore. So if we fulfill both of these quests, we're going to gain 100 ore, and we're going to be able to spend that on a card keg. So make sure you always check this and keep it in mind as you're playing, because it's super, super, super important to be earning the maximum amount of resources you can early on so that you can fill out your card collection and start throwing some good cards into your deck. All right, so let's just do a quick overview. Here's the play tab. Training, this is going to be where you're playing bot matches. Classic is your standard bread and butter multiplayer game. Here is where you're going to pick the deck that you want to play. We have reward points, which you spend in the reward book, unlocking ore, scrap, card kegs, and chests. You have ore, which you're going to spend on card kegs. You have scrap, which you're going to spend in your deck builder to craft specific cards that you need for a deck that you're working on. And card kegs, of course, which is going to be your main source of filling out your card collection. So you receive, every time you open a card keg, you receive 5 random cards. Cool. So I think that is pretty much everything you guys need to know to get started with the UI and resources. Early on, you're going to find yourself mostly just playing a lot of games and trying to gain as many resources as possible so that you can start building better decks. So I think that is it for this episode, but on the next one, we're going to be talking about basic gameplay mechanics. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Adios.